A shocking recall has hit Walmart broccoli, potentially contaminated with listeria. You're trying to eat healthy, tossing some veggies with dinner, maybe a fruit with breakfast, just like your doctor suggested. But hold on tight. Today's grocery stores are delivering a surprising betrayal. That produce, doused in chlorine, polished with sprays, and weeks past its prime. This is not the food you knew as a kid. By the end of this video, the unsettling truth will hit you. Why this issue is more troubling than ever before. Let's dive in, starting with Walmart, America's grocery giant, where you can grab socks, a blender, and a zucchini within 15 feet of each other, all hiding an unexpected secret. But when it comes to vegetables, Walmart is not the deal it pretends to be. Former employees have revealed some ugly truths about what is going on behind those automatic doors. One ex-produce worker in Texas said, "We used to get boxes of lettuce that were already going bad. We just peeled off the slimy outer leaves, sprayed it down, and tossed it on the shelf." Walmart's obsession with low prices creates a ripple effect. They push suppliers to meet rock-bottom costs, which often means the vegetables are picked early, stored longer, and trucked further before hitting the store. That bag of spinach you grabbed on a Sunday morning might have been harvested 10 days ago in another state, sat in transit for 4 days, and then stored in the back cooler until the shelf needed refilling. And in some cases, the produce is not even kept cold consistently. Multiple whistleblowers have posted videos from store back rooms where pallets of cucumbers sat at room temperature overnight because no one had time to unload the truck properly. It is not just about freshness, it is about sanitation. A customer in North Carolina posted a photo of a Walmart cabbage display crawling with gnats. The store's response, "We are looking into it. Great." In another location, a toddler was caught on camera licking tomatoes from a lower bin. No employee intervened for over 3 minutes. That same bin refilled later that day without being cleaned. Then there is the labeling. You might see a sticker that says organic or local. But according to a 2022 investigation, several Walmart stores were caught mislabeling imported vegetables from Mexico as locally grown. Not only is that misleading, it can also be a safety issue. Imported vegetables may have been grown using pesticides banned in the United States or washed in untreated water. Now, let us take a look at Kroger. On paper, Kroger is the second largest grocery chain in the United States, but bigger does not always mean better, especially when it comes to vegetables. While their produce section may look colorful and inviting, some of the practices behind the scenes are anything but fresh. One former Kroger-produced clerk spilled the truth on a popular message board. "We had a standing rule to rotate everything except when we were short-staffed," which was almost always. That meant old stuff sat out way longer than it should have. Multiple employees confirmed that produce shipments often arrive in a half-rotted condition, especially bananas, tomatoes, and strawberries. And the fix is usually cosmetic. Wipe it, stack it, sell it. In fact, some stores use what is known as the miracle spray. It is a combination of lemon juice and cold water. The purpose, not to clean, but to give wilted lettuce and spinach a second life on the shelf. Customers think they are buying fresh. They're just buying slightly better looking spoiled. Let us talk about the pre-cut section. Bagged lettuce, diced onions, celery sticks, veggie trays. You might think you are saving time, but you could be buying a bacteria playground. The issue, time, and temperature. At some Kroger stores, employees have admitted to assembling these packs at the beginning of the day, leaving them out for hours before they are refrigerated or skipping the fridge entirely when space runs out. One insider said, "It is not uncommon to find veggie trays sitting out in the back room for half a shift before anyone remembers to put them away." Kroger has also been dinged for misleading signage. In a 2021 audit, multiple locations were caught displaying locally grown labels on imported produce. That fresh local zucchini, it had a shipping label from Guatemala. Customers filed complaints, but most never got a response. There is also the issue of pests. In Cincinnati, a shopper filmed a video of flies crawling across the mushrooms and bell peppers. The store responded with a statement promising enhanced sanitation protocols. But 2 weeks later, a similar video surfaced from a nearby store, and it is not just insects. One Kroger location in Georgia was temporarily closed after a customer found rodent droppings behind a produce cooler. The worst part, the droppings were discovered by the customer, not the store. Another tactic that should raise eyebrows. Kroger's produce value bins. These are large tubs of mixed vegetables offered at deep discounts. But where does that produce come from? According to several workers, it is the damaged, bruised, and nearly expired leftovers that can no longer be sold at full price. One employee put it like this: if you see a value bin, just know someone had to dig through the trash to make it. Now, let us walk a few aisles over to Safeway, a store that tries to look upscale with soft lighting, tidy displays, and prices that scream, "We know you forgot to check the receipt." But beneath the surface, Safeway has had its own share of produce problems. Former employees have described a common practice known as rotation theater. That is where older, wilted produce is placed on top of the newer shipments to sell it faster. So if you thought you were getting a just-delivered head of Roma, you were probably just buying yesterday's regret. And the funny thing is, Safeway is not even subtle about it. A viral Reddit post from a former employee showed a crate of moldy bell peppers being wiped clean with paper towels and placed directly on the display. The manager's exact words, "If the customer does not touch it, they will not know." Temperature control is also a recurring issue. In multiple health inspections from the past 5 years, Safeway locations in California, Washington, and Arizona were flagged for improper cooling of perishables. That means your pre-cut watermelon cup might have spent hours in the danger zone. That is between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, where bacteria multiply like crazy. One location was found to have a broken walk-in cooler and the solution. Move everything to the floral fridge and hope for the best. Let us talk about cleanliness or lack of it. Safeway's vegetable misting systems, the ones that make the lettuce glisten and the radishes look like they just ran a marathon, are rarely cleaned as often as they should be. One employee said, "There is stuff growing in the pipes. You do not see it, but you smell it when you open the back valve." In other words, that refreshing mist might be a sneeze from a fungus colony. Customers have complained about more than just appearance. One shopper in Oregon found a tiny worm curled up inside her pre-washed spinach bag. Another in Colorado said she bit into a cherry tomato and found it was completely black inside. It still looked fine on the outside. She posted a video showing the tomato collapse in her hand like a wet balloon. The worst part, it came from a fresh pick of the day display. Even the organic section is not immune. At some Safeway locations, employees admitted that when they run out of organic kale, they will sometimes just grab regular kale and slap it into the empty bin to avoid gaps on the shelf. That means customers are paying a premium for a label that means nothing. And then there is the issue of packaging. Those pre-cut vegetable trays might look convenient, but they are also a ticking time bomb. The cut edges give bacteria a fast track in, and the plastic wrap traps moisture, which is bacteria's best friend. Now, let us look at Giant, a grocery chain with a name that promises scale, but not necessarily standards. On the surface, Giant's produce section looks like any other. Clean aisles, stacked fruits, bright lighting. But that lighting might be doing more than you think. Multiple former employees revealed that specific produce displays at Giant stores are carefully arranged not for rotation, but for optical effect. One said they told us to build towers with the newer stuff on top, older on bottom. The goal was simple: make it look full. That means the tomato you grab from the middle of the pile might have been sitting there since Monday. One customer from Pennsylvania posted a picture of a plastic-wrapped veggie tray with condensation trapped inside. The caption, "Looks like it is sweating out its regrets." Another shopper showed a bag of spinach bought from Giant that turned black just 2 days after purchase. When they checked the package date again, they noticed something odd. The date was rubbed off, not removed, just enough smudge to be unreadable. There have also been problems with stock rotation. A former produce worker described how expired cucumbers and tomatoes were routinely pulled off shelves, resorted, and sold in prepackaged deals like 3 for $2. When asked why, the manager replied, "Better in a sale than in the bin." Giant has also struggled with pest issues. In 2022, a Maryland location had to discard hundreds of pounds of produce after a fruit fly infestation spread from the banana shelf to the leafy greens. But before the fruit was pulled, it sat on the floor for hours, still available for customers to buy. One shopper noticed a layer of gnats hovering over the organic apples. Another said the cilantro had visible webs between the stems. Let us pivot to Food Lion, a chain that is especially popular across the southeastern United States. Their slogan is easy, fresh, and affordable. Two of those might be true, but the fresh part, that is debatable. Food Lion's produce section is often smaller than its competitors, which makes it harder to hide the aging vegetables. One shopper in Virginia posted a photo of celery stalks that were so dried out they had turned brown at the base, and yet they were still displayed with a manager special sticker. A former worker confirmed, if we could sell it before the mold appeared, it went out on the floor. Like other budget chains, Food Lion relies heavily on bulk deliveries, sometimes only once or twice per week. That means vegetables like cucumbers, bell peppers, and kale may sit for several days before being unpacked and displayed. One whistleblower from North Carolina said the store's backroom cooler was so overstead that crates of vegetables were sometimes stacked in the hallway without any refrigeration. When it comes to food safety, Food Lion has had its share of public embarrassments. In a 2019 state inspection, a location in South Carolina was cited for holding pre-cut fruit at over 55 degrees. That is 15 degrees above the recommended limit. The inspector also noted that salad mix packages were leaking onto other items. The store's fix wiped them off and put them back out. Even more disturbing, several Food Lion employees have posted online about managers encouraging workers to repurpose expired produce. That means old tomatoes might end up chopped into pico de gallo. Wilted spinach might go into a fresh sauté blend. One cook in the deli said, if it can be chopped, we use it. Even if it is slimy, we just trim the edges. Customers have also reported unpleasant surprises. A woman in Alabama posted a video of a sealed bag of carrots from Food Lion that were covered in a slimy residue and already turning gray inside the bag. Another shopper from Tennessee said their bag of Kleslaw mix had live bugs crawling inside despite a sell-by date that was still 5 days away. And it is not just about the vegetables themselves. Food Lion's produce displays are often made of rough wood or porous plastic. That might not sound alarming until you realize these surfaces are rarely sanitized. Bacteria, moisture, and old food particles can build up in the cracks. One employee admitted, we clean them once a week. Maybe most of the time we just sweep out the old lettuce bits. And this brings us to Family Dollar. Yes, Family Dollar sells vegetables, not in every store, but enough of them stock canned, packaged, and even fresh produce to warrant attention. The problem is, those stores are often the ones you do not want to buy from. In 2023, the company made headlines when over 400 stores were forced to temporarily close due to a massive rodent infestation at a central warehouse. That warehouse supplied dozens of Family Dollar locations with food, including fruits and vegetables. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, inspectors found live rodents, dead rodents, rodent feces, and urine in areas used for food storage and distribution. And the response, the company pulled affected goods, but quietly, and not always completely. Some customers reported buying canned vegetables from stores that were part of the recall zone weeks after the announcement. Others noticed strange odors from bags of onions and garlic that had passed their expiration dates by months. But even without warehouse drama, the in-store practices are questionable. Many Family Dollar locations do not have proper refrigeration units for vegetables. That means anything perishable is kept on room temperature shelves for hours or days before anyone checks. One employee confessed, if the AC goes out, we keep selling stuff unless it smells. Some stores receive produce just once a week, and sometimes not at all. One manager said their weekly delivery sometimes skipped produce entirely, so they reused old stock or borrowed from expired displays to keep shelves from looking empty. Moldy bell peppers were wiped down, soft potatoes were rotated forward, and shriveled onions dusted with a cloth and placed back in the bin. There have even been reports of repackaging. A customer from Georgia said they found a plastic produce bag labeled Best by January in late March with the sticker replaced. When they asked the cashier, the response was, "It is still good, just dry." Spoiler, it was not. And let us not forget location conditions. Family Dollar stores in lower income areas often suffer from underfunding, understaffing, and poor maintenance. Dirty floors, broken coolers, and leaking ceilings are not rare. They are routine. Combine that with a produce section, and you get a recipe for disaster. So, what can you do? Brace yourself for the jaw-dropping reality. The safest, freshest, most nutrient-packed veggies aren't guaranteed by a flashy brand or a slick flyer. Blind shopping is over. Gone are the days of trusting in this economy with these shady store tricks. The real fix? Ditch the reliance on a sign's name and sharpen your senses. Master the art of spotting true freshness. Snap those stems, inhale the leaves, peek for sweat under plastic. If carrots bend instead of crack, ditch them. If pre-cut salad reeks of sour vinegar, trust your nose. It's not a trick. And if that tomato gleams brighter than your polished shoes, question it. You hold more power than you realize. Every moldy bin you skip, every bruised lettuce bag you drop, every soggy value pack you reject, each move sends a loud wake-up call to the store, the supplier, the entire industry. Because food isn't just about price, it's about trust. And once that trust shatters, no sale is worth the discomfort. So zoom in, dig deeper, and never let fresh blind you again. You deserve to know exactly what's landing on your table. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this eye-opener with someone else. Remember, the real truth isn't always served on the menu.